So, what is proper technique? In this video, I'm just going to give you the answer to that. You know, all of it. So stick with me. It's a short lesson, and yeah, I recommend that you watch it once a week so you remember how to do things. Proper technique, the correct, right? It's only about just doing it the easiest way possible from the beginning. Because we don't want to practice something that we don't want to become good at. And if we practice, have weird habits, then we kind of create a ceiling to ourselves that we're going to, you know, we can't take our skills to the level we want because the skills, the way we practice them is simply going to limit us in the long run. So basically what this is not like, I don't have this from other people. I only have this from my own experience and from what I've seen in other students. It's not a, you know, I'm not teaching you what people have been taught for the last 200 years because a lot of that is totally flawed, dysfunctional, and stupid, quite honestly. So when you play chords, for instance, it's a good idea to make sure that you use as little force as humanly possible. So don't replace force with, don't replace precision with force. You know, that's what we do in the beginning. Because it's hard, we try to push harder to go those pesky strings down towards the fretboard, right? Or if we play, you know, if we're not that accurate with where we place our finger, we can just push harder to make the note come out clearer. That does nothing for you. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't make you better. It doesn't give you the result you want. It's absolutely a complete waste of energy. What you need to do instead is make sure it's as easy as possible to get a good result in the beginning. Right? And the way you do that is that you have a guitar that doesn't have super high action. You want the strings to be close to the fretboard. The higher the action, the harder it is to push the strings down. If you're using a nylon string acoustic, you want to go to your music store and then you want to say, can you have the strings come closer? And basically on an acoustic, what you do is you take this bridge out, this little piece of plastic or bone, and then you basically take a piece of sandpaper and you make it lower, right? I would any day play a guitar that sounded, you know, not optimal, but that had the strings closer to the fretboard. Then I would have a guitar that was hard to play. And go to the music store and say, I want the nylon strings. This is a steel string acoustic, which sounds way better, I think, when it comes to songs and stuff like that. It's louder around the campfire. So I recommend you buy one of those and skip the Spanish nylon string guitar. But if that's the one you have, choose strings with as low tension as humanly possible. Because that's going to make it even easier to push the strings down towards the fretboard and get a good result. You don't want to make it harder on yourself than you need to, right? That's stupid. You want that wall you have to climb to get to the other side of when now you're good at playing guitar. Now things are easier. You want to make that initial resistance as small as possible. So use low tension strings. Also goes for this. Also goes for the electric guitars as well. And then you can tune down one half step if you want. You can tune down to E flat. If you have a chromatic tuner, that's easy. So EB is E flat, A flat, G flat, and so on. All the way down. That makes the strings really, really soft. And then you can work on precision. Focus on precision. That's what's going to give you proper technique, right? So if you have a C major chord here, then I'm fretting that and I have to keep my fingers off the fretboard because otherwise they're gonna mute the strings that this finger, if it's not standing up on the fretboard, it's gonna mute the strings that I'm not playing. And no amount of force is going to make up for that. So I need my fingers to stand up. Now we're talking proper technique, right? I need them to stand up so I can have clear notes all the way. Then I need to fret the note just somewhere around, just behind the fret wire. That's actually not as important as many people make it out to be. This is a C major. Fret it in the correct way. I can move the whole thing back and fret it in the incorrect way. Oh, you see, you got a little bit of a bad sound there. So if I fret it in the middle, between the two, it's actually the most effective thing. Right? The string is softer there. So put your finger in between the frets rather than just behind the fret wire. Right? It's easier, more effective. And then if you have a hard time playing guitar, it's no wonder because the guitar is actually built. This form here is built. You need one of these. This is the more expensive model. They're very cheap. So this is a Hercules. It's really sturdy. The other one I had just simply, it just went to like butter under my foot after some time. So this is really good. It's wide, and you need one of these because when I'm playing like that, like this, I use it for my right leg. I use that, I hold the guitar on this leg to look cool. That's what I do. Because this doesn't look cool. I really mean that. You know, if I make YouTube videos and I say, hello and welcome to this guitar lesson. You know, that's a classical position. No classical guitarist would take you seriously if you sat like this. That's not how we do that. And we can learn from classical guitarists because this is the optimal playing position. Why? Because here I can have a relaxed hand. I have the optimal range, you know, I can stretch like crazy. If I hold it here, you know, it's like, and the worst playing position is the Metallica style, right? Just put it way down there, right? But you can totally learn to play down here. Once you master this, it's easy to learn to play like this. You know, don't practice like this too much because you can get an elbow damage if you practice for hours, I promise you. Speaking out of experience. So, but it's easy once you learn to practice like this, where you have it feels so good. You have so many other options, right? It just doesn't look like rock and roll, right? So practice like this, and when you want to look cool around the campfire or on stage, you want to sit like this, right? But this is easy once you master this. Standing up like that, and pulling the guitar all the way down. If you want to play, what is it? Right? If you want to hold it here, then that is way easier if you've been practicing like this and like that. But if you start here, it's going to give you all kinds of troubles, right? So basically what I want you to do to develop proper technique is that you sit like this. Now I can really do some stuff here. It's like, wow, this is a huge difference, right? So buy a stool, right, which is this and not the thing that smells, and then sit like this instead, right? Then you can really grab the neck, and then you have this claw feeling in your hand. So if you relax your hand, just don't do anything with it and just hold it like that, then this is the exact perfect position of holding your fingers like this, right? You go to there and you do that. I'm holding my thumb like that, not in the middle necessarily, but in the middle or a little bit up here. It's if you have to push with your thumb, with the tip of your thumb, this is holding it in the middle. Then I have to create pressure from this point. It is easier to some extent if you create pressure from this point. So if you grab the neck, and this is where you really have contact with the neck on the back of the neck, then this is easier to have sustain the pressure, right? Like that. If you do this, it takes a little bit more energy. It's like trying to, again, hold up a barbell like that. That's harder than pulling it closer to the body like that. So sometimes I'm holding it like this, right? So you actually have that knuckle in the middle, right? So nobody would tell you this as proper technique, but it works. And sometimes you would have like that if you really want to have grabbing power or you want to have your fingers come out from the fretboard. So that's basically, right? And then I can rest my arm here. I can do for strumming anything. Now I have a fixed point of reference for the brain. So when I strum, it's the same movement towards the strings always. So I can play blindfolded because it's always the same, right? Like that. And it's just, you can't. If you use the same guitar every time, then it will be the same all the time. And I'm basically strumming approximately over the sound hole, which gives the clearest, brightest sound. Right? See? Oh, see that? Right? Now I'm grabbing the neck. That's fine too, because I have so much. Now I'm completely, my hand is completely, there's no distance, right? I'm grabbing it completely. That's also, I do that also when I'm phrasing, because that works really well. What is not non-negotiable is that you must have your fingers like that, right? And that's going to give you the best result. I'll do other videos on this, other aspects of proper technique. But I so warmly recommend that you sit like that. And I don't care if you play metal or rock or whatever it is, practice like this. Because if you stand, I'm not going to stand up right now, but if you stand up, that's how you hold the guitar anyway, right? So now I have a strap on, and I have that. This is going to lock up your elbow, give you elbow pain, and it looks cool, but don't practice like that. Those were the words. I hope that was valuable to you. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. Please do. Please click it right now. It means a lot to me. So thanks, and I hope to see you in another video.